What's up, guys? Kruxe here, and I'm bringing you guys something a little bit different. It's a thief guide for Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns. I recently got the expansion, and I've been playing a little more often now, and I feel confident enough to put some information out there as far as a guide, where I feel pretty confident the information is going to be viable, and you guys are going to be able to use it to maybe have some fun, maybe experiment yourselves. So to begin, I played World of Warcraft. I played Rogue in World of Warcraft. I play Smite. So I played Loki in that. Those are my favorite characters. So naturally, I'm attracted to a thief in Guild Wars 2. And the first thing I ever did when I first played back in 2012 was I equipped 2 daggers and moved on with my life. And I really enjoy Dagger Thief. Definitely in PvE, love it. It's fucking amazing. But in PvP, you seem a little bit limited, especially now with all the changes that have happened to the game. You seem a little bit limited as far as utilities. So what I'm trying to do is, what I tried to do was equip 2 daggers, go into PvP, see where the flaws were, and try to make up for that with talent selections, basically stat improvement. So yeah, I tried to kind of fortify what was missing in Dagger Thief gameplay, I guess, if you want to call it, in PvP. Okay, guys, let's jump right into this. Let's look at our build. So for our build, I have obviously the double daggers and the double pistols is what I'm using. I like the double pistols because when I have nothing really left in my kit as far as my daggers, I get away and I can still deal out a lot of damage with the pistols. So for my sigils, I have Sigil of Blood, Sigil of Energy for my dagger, and then Sigil of Blood and Sigil of Air for my pistols. Rune is Rune of the Daredevil, and then Marauder Amulet. So you can see there, you're kind of a balanced, you're a little bit balanced there as far as power to precision ratio. And then in the specialization, I'm going with Deadly Arts, Critical Strikes, and Daredevil. So Mug is the very first thing I take. Mug is awesome because you not only get a heal, but it also does damage, and it's just nice when you need that kind of like, oh shit heal, basically. Panic Strikes is going to be the next one, so when people are below the threshold, which is 50% there, I can slow them down, keep them near me, because as a dagger thief, you need to be up in their face. You don't have much. The gap closers that you do have, you want to utilize them efficiently, is what I'm trying to say. So if you're going to use like the Infiltrator Signet or Steel, you want to use that efficiently. You want to use those to deal damage. So this is nice to have as another form of kind of a like a lockdown. Last talent on this one is, on this bracket, is the Executioner. That's legit, pretty legit. Everybody likes that. Anyways, so let's see. In Critical Strikes, we're going Side Strike. You get increased critical strike damage if you hit from the side or from behind the opponent. Also, Practice Tolerance. I like this because your crits are a lot higher. You have a greater amount that you're critting for every time you crit. And then finally, I go with Invigorating Precision. This is key to this build, I want to say, because you're doing so much damage and you're poking in and out that it's nice to have that heal coming in. That 15% heal of all the damage you're dealing is kind of nice having that coming in, especially if you're taking damage and you have to kind of like get the hell out. But then when you come back in and poke, you kind of get some health back. So it's kind of nice to keep you in the fight, even though you're playing this spec and this build, you're playing it very cautiously. You're coming in when you need to wipe people out, and you're getting out. So let's go into the Daredevil. Physical Supremacy, that's a passive. Okay, so I go with Weakening Strikes. Why do I go with Weakening Strikes? And that's important because you're playing, again, dagger. You don't want to use your gap closers to, just get on top of the person without doing anything. You want to use them efficiently. So this here acts as sort of a gap closer. It slows people down. You're able to stay on top of them, and just deal out your damage right there on top of them. You're a melee fighter, so you need to be right there. I use Pulmonary Impact. You could use this to whenever you evade escapes. What is it? Escapist's Absolution. You could use that to remove conditions whenever you dodge. But I tend to lean over to the Pulmonary Impact just because whenever I interrupt, it does a fuck ton of damage and it's unblockable. So then we go finally Dash. Now you could do 2 different abilities in my opinion that have worked pretty well for me, and that's Dash and Bound. But I tend to stick to dash a little bit more. One, because it removes conditions. It gives me swiftness, which again, you're closing gaps with the swiftness, and it gives you like a charge. So if you have dash and you do a roll, what you see is I just fell off. What you see is your guy kind of dashes forward, right? So you get that kind of like escape, or if you want to close the gap on somebody, you could be right on their ass from just hitting it, you know, if they're running away from you. So let's see what else was there. And that was it. And, you know, the other one you could use is bound. Bound is good too. You get increased damage after you bound. But if you need to get out, like if I have full endurance, bound is you're just gonna be doing flips. You know, I like dash because I can just spend all my endurance and just dash the hell out and get away from if I need to get out of the fight without having to use my shadow step, because that's, to me, I use that more of a CC breaker. So if I'm stunned, I get the hell out with shadow step. If I'm immobilized, I try shadow step and get the hell out. So speaking of shadow step, let's go over the skills here. So for my skills, I have hide in the shadows, and the reason why I use that is because this is a very stealth heavy build. You're going to be using stealth constantly. You're going to want to probably be in and out of stealth every chance you get. So as soon as reveal falls off, you want to get back into stealth and deal out damage. Go for those hard backstabs. Next, I use the infiltrator signet, and the reason why I do that is because not only am I regenning initiative a lot quicker, which I need a lot for cloak and dagger, which is very expensive, but I can close gaps. So if I were to, let's say, get on this guy and go for a hard backstab, and I don't have my steel up, I could just kind of start casting my cloak and dagger and hit my infiltrator signet, come over to him, and go for a hard backstab. So it's a nice gap closer on top of having steel. Steel is also a very good gap closer. And they're both on kind of the same cooldown, I believe. So they're on 30-second cooldowns each, so it's really nice. So every minute you can use a gap closer twice. Finally, we have, closing up here, we have Shadow Refuge, and that's just, I mean, a huge utility ability. I use that to basically get back into stealth. Like I said, it is a very stealth-heavy build. You're going to be in and out of stealth constantly. Prod's inviting me here, little douche. So, you know, that's definitely a huge thing. Plus, you can revive allies. You can get the hell out of a fight if you need to. Also, I like to use Shadow Step. I already explained why. It's to get out of stuns. And also, you could use Infiltrator Signet. Also, you can use Infiltrator Signet to get out of stuns and immobilizing effects and things like that. Finally, for my elite, Basilisk Venom, and I think we know why. I mean, it's just you're going to try to lock somebody down so you can dish out that damage, that quick thief damage. You know, you're going to want your opponent locked down if you're going to be dishing out the damages. So, like, if I want to, you know, jump over to this guy, boom, I want him stunned there. I want to make sure I get my hard backstab on him, and he goes down. So, basically, that's the build, guys. Cut short there. That's what's been working for me is for Dagger. And I hope you guys can build your thief the same way. Maybe you guys will have the same experiences. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll change it up and make it a little bit better with different talent choices and different abilities. And I'd really like to know if you guys develop something a lot better. So let me know in the comments. Let me know if you like it, if it's worked for you. Let me know if I'm just a douche. Before I forget, that there's another way that you can actually set this up, this build. You could use trickery instead of critical strikes. And let's just talk about why we're using trickery and what the talent choices are here. So Thrill of the Crime is amazing because you get all those buffs you see there. You get Fury, you get Might, you get Swiftness on steal. So every time you steal, you get that. Bountiful Theft is actually amazing because you also give yourself and your party members endurance regen, which is awesome too. I mean, extra dodges, who wouldn't want that? And this is a sweet, I want to kind of emphasize on this passive because it's really sweet. Every time you basically do a Heart Seeker or you steal, I think when you steal it does the same thing too, but every time you Heart Seeker for sure, you get a stack of lead attacks and you can get up to 15 of them and basically you get an extra 15% increased damage, which is pretty nice. Actually, wait, hold on a second. It says increased damage and condition damage per initiative spent. There you go. Okay, that's what it is. So yeah, you get 15% increased damage per initiative spent, which is, I mean, over time it adds up. And then finally, you got sleight of hand. Who wouldn't want that daze to keep them in place for a nice hard backstab? Okay, guys, that concludes my explanation on my Thief Dagger build. I hope it was informational. I hope you guys enjoy it, and hopefully it works really well for you as it's working for me. Be sure to subscribe. I will be posting up rotation videos coming up, and also some montage videos, and also maybe some commentary over some PvP footage. So that's it, guys. Now we're really out. See ya.